The Canadian government is introducing legislation where Canadians may see fines or even jail time for publicly speaking of the benefits of fossil fuels. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Now, enough of that fanfare. Let's get right to the story here. This is Charlie Angus. He's from the NDP, and he's not some low-ranking backbencher. No, this guy is like at the head. He's like one or two or three from Jagmeet Singh in our Canadian government on the NDP side, and he's introducing a bill where he's comparing fossil fuels, the use of fossil fuels across the board, as being the same as smoking cigarettes, using tobacco, and he's going after them like they went after big tobacco, and saying that anyone that speaks well of them, of these products being used, that should be banned in Canada, and there should be fines and jail time for people that advocate on their behalf, the behalf of them being used.
To state that the time has come to ban all oil and gas advertising. The big tobacco moment has finally arrived for big oil. Bill C-372 will, quote, provide a legislative response to a national public health and environmental problem of substantial and pressing concerns. The bill will make it illegal for big oil and gas lobby and the gas lobby or their front groups or paid influencers to falsely promote the burning of fossil fuels as a benefit to the public.
Now listen to the words that he's using, paid influencers. We hear that all the time. I get that accusation lobbed at me because I advocate for us to use technology that we have to heat our homes and to, transport ourselves around the planet. Of course, elites don't want to stop using jets. There are no electric jets that run on hydroelectric dams. No, that's not a thing. So they're not going to stop what they're doing, and they don't need to speak highly of it. They can do that on the down low, but this is what's happening here. It's incredible what he's actually putting forward. Now, the National Post is writing about this. NDP bill will prescribe jail terms for speaking well of fossil fuels. Now, it sounds like he's talking about just advertisements, but the language of the law actually prescribes to basically anyone who's doing this publicly. C-372, also known as the Fossil Fuel Advertising Act, was tabled Monday as a private member's bill in by NDP MP Charlie Angus, and this is what he has put together. Now they're going over largely what I just heard Charlie Angus say there, but we heard from Andrew Scheer recently, and he put together this amazing video on the subject.
Now this bill prohibits the promotion of fossil fuels. It even carries big fines and jail time for people who say certain positive things about the energy sector. I'm not paraphrasing here or putting words in Charlie Angus's mouth. No. I'm reading directly from the bill. It says it is prohibited for a person to promote a fossil fuel in a manner that states or suggests that the fossil fuel, its production or its emissions are less harmful than other fossil fuels. What does that mean? If I were to tell you that natural gas emits fewer greenhouse gases than, say, coal, off to jail I go. It goes on. It's prohibited to promote fossil fuels in a manner that states or suggests that a fossil fuel would lead to positive outcomes in relation to the environment, the health of Canadians, reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, or the Canadian economy.
So what does that mean exactly? And this is where it gets crazy, is that if you say that using one fossil fuel product over another fossil fuel product is better for the environment, or is better for anything in general, is better for health and safety, say perhaps using a propane heater inside your garage is better than a diesel heater inside your garage, you could get in trouble. Saying that, perhaps if we used natural gas instead of burning coal, that would be one of those things that's a no-no under this. And I wouldn't even be allowed to say this while being on Canadian soil. I would have to reserve my Japan trips or going to the United States to be able to say these things, because this law would actually have me fined, put in jail for actually having the audacity to say these things. Now, it is incredibly crazy what's happening in our government. And, well, you might say that this is something that's coming out of the NDP. Well, we all know somebody who loves those NDP colors. Yeah, that's right. Stephen Guilbeault, who used to wear that uniform. Well, this was for Greenpeace before he became a liberal. He spoke out against the liberals, by the way, because they weren't radical enough until they brought him on to be that radical. And where are we at with Guilbeault? Well, Guilbeault, according to the Western Standard, Guilbeault wants municipalities to stop building roads. Just stop making roads altogether. You know, this age-old question, if the government didn't do it, who would build the roads? Well, apparently nobody, according to this crazy environmental patient, Stephen Guilbeault, who wants us to stop building the roads and wants you to walk everywhere. We want you to walk everywhere you go. Well, as it turns out, Canadian coal exports have actually tripled despite the liberal efforts to curtail them. And isn't that insane? Isn't this a global issue, Stephen Guilbeault? I thought this was a thing where it was a global issue of the climate, but it seems to be only a regional one because we're only stopping us here in Canada from using these products that we produce. Of course, the coal that's being consumed in China, it's being consumed nonetheless, but it's coming from Canada. We could be selling them natural gas. But if I was to say that if China burned our natural gas instead of burning our coal, that it would be better for the environment, well, that would go against this brand new law. And and this is kind of the best part of this whole video, and I love to say it. But you know, Andrew Scheer is a much better YouTuber than he was the conservative leader. I'm sorry, Andrew, if you're watching this. I'm sorry. You do excellent YouTube videos, and we love to have you. We love having you in the conservative party. But it was a great run against Trudeau before. Anyway, I digress. This is a perfect part of his video because he decides to, well, he's going to break the law.
Clean and ethical Canadian natural gas is better for the environment than coal. The oil and gas industry provide jobs for thousands of Canadians in every part of this country. First Nations communities benefit from investment,
4 years,
drilling, exploration, and exportation of clean and ethical oil and gas. Every Canadian is better off thanks to our energy sector. There you go. I've just earned myself a few years in prison and maybe a couple $1 million worth of fines for saying something that is true.
Absolutely.
Prison used to be the place we sent people who did things like steal cars or commit violent.
Yeah, so he goes into that, and again, I'll leave a link in the description down below. It's a fantastic video. You can watch it in its entirety, but he really gets into driving that one home about how the government used to have the job of putting criminals away that used to do bad stuff, you know, violent crime, things like that. But instead, we're looking at jail people for doing what? Saying that natural gas is better than coal? I mean, this is just a normal, average thing that people would constantly think of. And in fact, on environmental issues, I think there are all kinds of things that are better for the environment if we did it. And this is obviously why I introduced this shirt on the store, the ecological, not environmental, the emphasis on the logical, not mental. And that's because we could be doing things in Canada that would stop actual environmental disasters. Hey, are they, you know, tearing down forests in the Amazon? Well, because, you know, tree poachers are doing that. Well, how about we flooded the market with our ethical logging? Why don't we have our logging industry do this? There are all kinds of things that we could be doing so much better. We could do much better garbage management, even within our own country. These are great environmental issues. Actually, I'd like to say ecological issues that we could get behind, especially bringing ethical fuel, ethical energy to the world. And this is something we should strive for. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.